Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and as you can tell from my backdrop, I enjoy collecting things from my favorite movies. But that doesn't always mean my favorite movies have collectibles. At least not from major companies.
For example, Earth vs. the Flying Saucers is a masterpiece of classic science fiction, and perhaps one of Ray Harryhausen's most underrated works. Sure, it doesn't have any fantastical creatures like the Sinbad movies do, but the imagery and designs here are no less iconic. Lots of research went into making this film, which was inspired by non-fictional ufology texts, and footage from it has since become a staple of UFO documentaries. A full review will come another day. My main point for the moment is that it's a great film, yet there's not really any memorabilia based on it. There's the movie itself, maybe a poster if you can find one, but otherwise nothing.
Or rather, there was nothing until recently.
Enter HOPToys, founded by Sean Hadley and David O'Brien. HOPToys, the HOP stands for High on Plastic, has taken up the cause of turning classic monsters and aliens who fell off the radar into collectibles, or for whom collectibles are so rare that most fans could never hope to get them otherwise.
I happen to have one of those figures here. This is a Saucer Man from Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, and today we'll be seeing how he stands up to scrutiny.
The Saucer Man comes in a clear plastic bag with a cardboard tag. There's nothing special about the bag itself, though the tag features a nice heavily shaded illustration of a Saucer Man by Brian Dole. Apologies if I mispronounced that.
But enough about the packaging. Let's look at the figure itself.
HOPToys most certainly did not skimp on size here. The Saucer Man stands roughly 12 inches or 24 centimeters tall, putting it in the same size range as this vintage Imperial Godzilla. Yeah, those were the days when figures were big but manageable. None of this stuff like making Star Wars figures so tall you can load them into your sedan and use the carpool lane. Does anyone even buy these things? I honestly don't know.
Now, even though the Saucer Man is considered a toy and comes from a company with the word toy in its name, and even though the tag says it's for ages 8 and up, let's be honest, this isn't really a child's toy. At least not in the traditional sense.
It does have 4 points of articulation. Both arms move at the shoulders and the legs rotate at the hips. The legs are not something you want to mess around with too much, for if the toes are angled too far inward or outward, he won't be able to stand without support. Once they're in the right position though, he's very well balanced and stable, though I don't recommend putting him on an unstable surface.
Still, I would say the Saucer Man is intended as a collector's item, designed not for play, but for display.
Not that a kid wouldn't potentially get a kick out of having one if you think it would make a good gift, but I'm thinking the majority of people eyeing this figure would be adult collectors. Or people who want to make a fan film.
This message is for the descendant of Dr. Russell Marvin.
My word. I had heard the stories, but I never thought I'd see one of you with my own eyes. What do you want?
Over 60 of your Earth years ago, we, the sons of Abaran, invaded your planet with intent to conquer.
And I suppose you've come back here to finish the job, have you?
No. We have come to seek your aid. It appears we now have a common enemy.
Well, one can only dream.
Getting back on track, the figure is made of vinyl rather than solidified electricity as it is in the film. Despite representing a smooth metallic being, it has a rough texture to it. Not sure why they went with a rough surface instead of a smooth one, but it's a subtle texture that doesn't affect the visual aspect. Honestly, it might be due to the paint, but I don't know for certain.
As cinematic aliens go, the Saucer Man has a fairly straightforward design, and what few details are present are relatively simple. On the figure, those details are about as film accurate as you can get.
The spacesuit is mostly featureless, save for the semi-accordion parts on the shoulders, legs, knees, and feet. When lined up with images from the movie, they match exactly. Even the suit's completely useless belt is in the right place.
Now, they could have just stopped right there. A solid Saucer Man suit with minimal design is the exact amount of minimum effort required to make this figure. But in this case, they went the extra mile.
You may recall that at one point in the movie, we see a saucer man without his conical helmet, and beneath is a face only a California raisin could love.
I bring this up because, yes, he has a removable helmet.
Underneath, we see the saucer man's natural head, looking exactly like the left in the bathtub for too long visage that greets us in the movie. Naturally, a bit more detail is needed here, and yet again, it's very film accurate. The eyes appear to be closed since the helmetless saucer man in the movie is dead, but the sculpting is just fine enough that they can also appear to be open depending on how you look at it. My one critique is that the head is much too small in proportion to the body, making him look like he has microcephaly. But I'm guessing this was done so the helmet could rest on the shoulders unimpeded. Considering he's mostly going to be displayed with his helmet on anyway, this isn't too big of an issue for me.
Now I know what some of you have been wondering and are no doubt waiting for me to address. The saucer men, according to the colorized version of the film and the movie posters, are traditionally silver. So why is this guy bright green?
Based on images from the HOPToys Facebook page, there are multiple color variations for the figure to add a bit more visual interest to the design. Kind of like those next-generation Daleks that exist entirely to sell toys and had no impact on the actual series despite having an entire episode devoted to introducing them. Yeah, that was a complete waste of time. Let me tell you, Doctor Who was declining long before Chris Chibnall came along and put the final nail in the coffin.
Sorry, that sentence kind of got away from me towards the end. What was I talking about? Right, so there are color variations for the different figures, but this guy isn't just green for the sake of being green. Maybe you noticed the shade and took a wild guess, and you'd be right. The figure does glow in the dark. I've had this guy soaking up some nice bright sunlight for a little bit. He should have enough that he'll show up nicely in the dark. All we have to do is kill the lights and... voila! As you can see, he has a full 360 degrees of glowing. A little bit mottled, but that just adds a bit more visual interest. And yes, the head underneath the helmet glows as well. So, that's a pretty cool feature. Got sort of a nice 50s era sci-fi look to him this way, doesn't he? In conclusion, this is a darn good figure.
It has a few minor imperfections, sure, but nothing so drastic that it ruins the whole experience, and he should make for a great addition to any sci-fi enthusiast's collection.
Of course, the Saucer Man is just the first classic alien on the docket for HOPToys.
I'm told that their next figure is the Ro-Man from Robot Monster, with plans for the Thing from Another World and the Giant Claw on the horizon. If the Saucer Man is any indication, the masterminds behind HOPToys know what they're doing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how their next few ventures turn out.
So if you enjoy collecting sci-fi memorabilia, or are just a really big fan of Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, I would recommend picking this guy up. If nothing else, he makes for a good conversation starter, or a prop for use in a fan film. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off. But why do you need our help? You must have advanced your own technology in the years since invading Earth.
As metaphorical representations of the Soviet Union, we halted our advancements in spacefaring technology ages ago, and thus have found ourselves outclassed by other powers. In hindsight, this was a grave mistake on our part.
That confirms it then. There really is no intelligent life elsewhere in the universe.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.